at Big Tubs Diorama. We don't do just surfing. We'll throw some fishing in there. And this one is for some dear friends. This one will be called the Turk's Cabin. And it all starts with the lone fisherman. Somehow that one is going to get fit in. But also there's going to be a family scene with a couple of big fish. And when I ordered the family scene, I didn't realize it's at the O scale and not the HO scale. So HO is much smaller than the O. See how much bigger that boat is. So we gotta find a way to get this fly fisherman in. And that shell will be the main one. And there's a second shell I'm gonna have as, this is leftover resin at the bottom of the cup, but I want to use that as a way to connect these two. I'll, kind of carve that down and then glue that on so that that's one piece. And there's a little garnish over here. So looking forward to making this for the northern Minnesota, land of the lakes. Just finished the hardest part of the project. See how the leftover stuff gets stuck in the cup? I took blue one out from a different cup, and I made my first waterfall. So that is going to go like that, and it's going to go down into a pool of, I'll put fresh resin down the bottom there, and have some stones. These are from the Truckee River by Topher and David's house, and it was some leftover stuff from my Barracuda project with Talese, so please look up that video. It's a good one. And I'm going to put that along the stream right here, and I'll have some foliage along the side. Putting this dock on was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to slip, right there. I'd make one quick little groove and it would sit in there really nicely. But this piling right here was bumping up against a ridge, and I don't know if you can see it, but I ended up carving a little inlet right there, which I think will help for gluing it, and I had to flatten out a whole bunch of areas here right on the foot of the clam. And so I'm going to put that in first because I need to see where to put fish and glue them in before I put the resin in, and then I can put the people on top of the dock and make it a family setting. Now I know that to everybody watching, this is an exciting moment where I actually have the dock in. Woohoo! And I'm going to put some sand from Narragansett, Rhode Island, where Owen likes to surf, down into the area underneath the dock. Oh, yeah, a little doggy sand. And I think that's going to look nice as the floor. I just don't want the whole thing to be shell, so the fish swimming underneath the dock have, something down there to play with. Decision time here at Big Tubs. I put in a little home for the fish. That's some kraken seaweed that you always find on lakes in northern Minnesota. And then over here, I want to set this up first where he's catching the fish before I put the other stones in right there. And I realized I have him glued in, so I'm going to end up doing some painting white, just the white areas. And that fish that he's catching is going to glow in the dark. It was just a fragment from one of my other projects, but it kind of looks like a fish, and we'll see how that goes. And I think I'll paint the other stuff right now. So I'm doing my first round of epoxy, and I'm keeping this clear because I want to have the sand very clear. And so on the first scene under the waterfalls, I'm just going to lay it down across one layer along the bottom and get that all planted into the bottom of the waterfall, and then I'll lay the blue water over that. And then over here, it's going to take a little bit more, but lay it along here, and then I'll be able to put the two fish on top. And I painted some orange glow in the dark here, and I added some orange glitter to make it look like a giant crappie. That'd be a good catch. A lot going on here. We're either drying the paint on the figures or the hardening of the resin. Got a blob here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I might use that to connect the two lakes of shell lakes. And I put in the, I'm calling that a northern Minnesota catfish, even though it's probably a shark. And then you got the crappie. I sort of set them into the hardening resin, and I think his top dorsal fin is going to come out of the water when I'm all done, which should look pretty sweet. And over here, that is just going to have water added to it, but it looks pretty good the way he's pulling the fish out of the water there. The magical lightning fish, only a couple have been caught. They light up when you catch them. Now here was my first attempt at making a fish. That was going to go across the shell. There's my second attempt, and there's my third attempt. That came out a little better, because I'm going to have the T, the U, the R, the K, and the S. And you can see I have a terrible K and an S there that didn't make it. And that's going to go on the shell to bring it all together. One last piece that I want to put together is the upside down piece waterfall and shell lake on this side. I want to be able to connect through a conduit that comes from the waterfall up to the platform where the second shell lake is going to be, so the water can go up and down between the two. And I have two competing ideas. One is to add a piece that comes down and it looks like it's going to drip, back and forth that way, and the other one is to have a shell and have that fit there, and then under it you can see I carved out a little hole where I'm going to make a strip, just like one little strip that goes back and forth. I think might look pretty cool. So not sure which one yet. We'll see. The last exciting part is coming up, which is good since I'm leaving in 2 days to Minnesota. And so I put in some brush, which is actually crusty seaweed, but it'll translate, and the rest of the stones from the Truckee River around there. And of course, because it's big tubs, got Bigfoot back there underneath the waterfall just chilling, although he doesn't know if he likes that his lightning fish is getting taken out. And just have to fill this one up to the brim with some, I think I'm going to go with more of a light blue so we can look down all the way. And then I'll have one last piece that will connect the waterfall to this piece, but that's going to have to be after everything dries. Here's the final scene with, you can see the reflection of the people on the dock, and under the water is the spotted northern Minnesota catfish and the giant crappie. And there's Isaac showing his mom Liz the catch. She might be over exaggerating it a little bit, but here comes Grandpa. He's going for the big guns. Double barreled rod there. See if he can pull up that big fish. As you go down below the lake, there's a little drainage hole, which is part of the stand. And we've got Perry the pump, little periwinkle there. Changes the water a little bit. It's got those spirals inside of the shell that acts like a pump that can pump the water up and down between the two different layers. And there's a lightning fish shaped like a crappie getting ready to get sucked down into the waterfall there where the other characters are fishing. Let's check it out. Here it is from the other side. He's saying, Mom, Julia won't believe how big these fish are. Because Julia, she's back at home making the best dilly bars you have ever seen. And then she's going to distribute them to her friends and family. Because that's just the kind of gal she is. And there, in sort of sporadic letters, this is for the Turks. And this thing will light up when we turn off the lights. This is the final version of the waterfall scene. And I put in a little extra resin because it was, just the lake wasn't turning blue enough. And so he's a little deeper than I wanted, but I think that looks pretty good. When at night you can see the fish down there, some of the stones around the edge of the pond, and of course our happy little friend in his home behind the waterfalls. He's a friendly guy. He just waits for these lightning fish to come down. He'll just grab one and snack on it here and there. There are some thunderfish though. They're a little bit tougher to catch. So as you can see from an upside down view, the lightning fish crappie is going to go into this waterfall through the periwinkle, and then that comes out into the waterfall, and the water just keeps recycling itself. It's like a pump between the two. And last but not least, on the flip side of the main lake is a lightning fish, a walleye. These ones are a lot tougher to catch. Put up a good fight with the Sasquatch. Nothing an angler like Jim can't handle though. So here at Big Tubs we have a little advantage over those other rookies out there making dioramas. Ours are just as good to look at, if not better, at night than they are during the day. And that's what you get. Here's the nice pond, the crappie. And over on the other side, spotted giant catfish. Let's see how else this looks from the other side. It's not glued together yet, but do the best we can. Here's where the real magic happens. As you can see, the front side here. Let's go down and see what happens. Oh yeah, the water's draining out of the lake down into the waterfall. Crappie's working its way to Perry. And the final destination, or not, let's take a look at the waterfall. And here, folks, is the scene that makes Big Tubs Big Tubs. Because not only is this very adept fisherman catching the very rare lightning fish, but also you do have the Squatch in the back just waiting for his catch. What he doesn't know is that the fish that's coming is a thunderfish, and he's gonna have his hands full. What we know about the thunderfish is that it's attracted only to the most interesting people in the world, and the Turks do qualify. So whether it swims up to the main lake and gets caught, or it goes over the waterfall and gets caught, it will bring rare energy and vitality to those who consume it.